Okay, so for this first video, let's turn to page 184 in our textbook. Now on page 184, in the first complete paragraph that begins with the word experience, we learn about Selman's stages of friendship among children. As a matter of fact, if we went down two lines, we see a sentence that begins, a popular study. You see where I am? Do you, everybody? A popular study conducted in 1979 by Selman and Selman described friendship as a series of stages. Now, as I go over each stage, I want to provide additional information, and I want you to include this information in your notes, so you'll be able to use this for our next exam. So the first stage, number 1, momentary playmateship, which is found in the first 3 to 4 years of life, when friends are defined by proximity and their material possessions. Now, by proximity, we're talking about their closeness to each other, their physical closeness. So, for example, to a child who is in the momentary playmate stage, a friend would be somebody who lives on the same block as he or she does, or somebody who lives next door to him or her. So based on that proximity, that person would be a friend. And also based on material possessions. Now, to a kid, by material possessions, we mean toys and games and neat stuff, things, stuff that's neat to a 3 to 4 year old. Also, a person at the momentary playmate stage sees a friend as somebody who he comes in contact with every day, or sees every day in one setting or another. So therefore, to a child at this stage, a friend is somebody who he sees at preschool every day. A friend is somebody who he or she sees at the playground every day. A friend is somebody who he or she sees on church every Sunday, or this or that. So all of that could be the basis of who is a friend. Number 2, one-way assistance, which typically evolves in years 4 to 9 when children have developed a theory of mind and the understanding that others have different perspectives, and children in this stage base their friendships on whether the peer will do what the child wants to do. In other words, at this stage, if somebody personally satisfies this child in one way or another, that person is a friend. If this person makes the child happy, that person is a friend. So, for example, at this stage, a child might say, Bobby is my friend because he tells funny jokes and he makes me laugh. Or Sarah is my best friend because she lets me play with her dolls. Or Victor is my best friend because he lets me stay over at his place and we watch videos. So that would be the one-way assistance. Number 3, two-way fair weather cooperation, which is seen in children ages 6 to 12, when there is a regard for give and take in relationships, and there is a desire for cooperation. So the child is no longer thinking, oh, Victor lets me stay over, therefore he's my friend. No, now the child is thinking, last weekend I invited Victor over to my place, and next weekend Victor is inviting me over to his place. So because we do things for each other, we are friends. Ronald lets me play with his cars, and I let him play with the games on my smartphone. So therefore, we are friends. Another thing is, at this particular stage, a friend is somebody who likes to play the same kinds of games as you do, with few arguments. So that could also pertain to that. Number 4, intimate mutually shared relationships is usually revealed in youths ages 9 to 15, and they see friendship as a commitment and ongoing in both time and intensity. Now that's an interesting word, intensity. Time is self-explanatory. That means that at this stage, they're going to be friends for a lot longer than when they were in earlier stages. But by intensity, we're now talking about a psychological commitment, meaning that these two friends are there for each other, not just to play the same games or to share things with each other, but to be there for each other emotionally in good times and bad times. So if a friend has good news to say, he'll tell it to another person. If a person has sad news to say, he'll tell it to the other person. If something really good happened to him or something really sad happened, then that friend will be there to listen. And then finally, number 5, autonomous interdependent relationships that develop around the age of 12 when the child comprehends the notion of respect for others and the need for both dependence and autonomy in relationships. So at this stage, you may have two teenagers who are friends, and they'll stay friends even if something happens that may otherwise disrupt the friendship. For example, let's say that one friend moves away. They'll still be friends. Or let's say that one friend begins a romantic relationship with a boyfriend or girlfriend. The two people will still be friends. So the bond is especially strong during the teenage years and in this particular stage. Okay, so here is part 1 of this week's ICA. I want you to think of somebody with whom you are or were friends as a child or a teenager. And I want you to explain how you stayed friends based upon any of these stages of friendship. Okay? So how did you and this person become friends and stay friends based upon any of these particular stages? So you could pick stage 1, stage 2, stage 3. Just be sure to explain how this particular stage accounted for the friendship you had with this other person during childhood or your teenage years.